This is your need to know. This is your need to know.
All right, strap in, everyone. We are going deep on Blade Runner 2099. Looks like filming just wrapped,
Yeah.
and you guys have been sending us a ton of buzz from Reddit about it.
Lots of chatter online.
Fans seem excited, but also kind of nervous.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
I mean, 2049 was amazing, but can they really pull that off again with a screaming show?
That seems to be the question, right? Can they capture the magic again? You know, it's
Yeah.
interesting. Some of the fans are comparing it to what happened with Lord of the Rings and Jack Ryan,
Right.
where you had those big budget productions, but the fans were really critical of how they handled the source material.
So they're worried Amazon might, drop the ball on this one too.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, 2049 had its doubters before it came out, and then it blew everyone away.
Right. It's almost like with Blade Runner, people expect to be a little unsure at first.
Like that's part of the fun.
Yeah, like maybe that uncertainty is part of the whole experience.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the films themselves kind of play with that ambiguity.
Right.
Like what is real, what isn't.
Okay, so on that note, one thing that has some fans nervous
Mm-hmm.
is the showrunner.
Oh, yeah.
Their Halo episode, not everyone loved it.
Uh-huh.
Now they're worried about this one.
Right, but remember,
Yeah.
a showrunner's role can change so much from project to project.
Okay.
And just because they did one episode of Halo
Right.
doesn't mean that we know how they're going to handle Blade Runner.
That's true. One episode isn't the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things that are making people nervous,
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2099 is going straight to streaming.
Okay.
Some people are taking that as a sign that maybe the studio doesn't have a lot of faith in it.
Yeah, I can see why they might think that.
Like they're not giving it a big theatrical release, so what does that tell us,
Mm-hmm. But think about it this way.
Yeah.
2049 didn't do that well at the box office.
That's true.
And it was a phenomenal film.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not about a lack of confidence. Maybe it's just about how people are watching things these days.
Like streaming is just the way to go now.
Exactly.
And hey, maybe this is a good thing.
How so?
Maybe with a series, they'll have more time to explore the world and the characters.
Yeah, instead of being limited to a 2-hour movie,
Right, exactly.
they can really go deep.
Yeah, and that's what Blade Runner is all about, right?
Mhm.
Like those complex themes and those rich characters.
Exactly.
Oh, so maybe this streaming thing isn't so bad after all.
Could be an opportunity.
And speaking of opportunities, the casting is amazing.
Yeah. Who do you have in mind?
Hunter Schafer and Michelle Yeoh.
Wow, those are big names.
Big names. And they both bring so much to the table.
Definitely.
I'm especially intrigued by Hunter Schafer.
Yeah.
Her work on Euphoria was just
Mm.
so powerful,
Mm.
and she has this ability to bring so much depth to her characters.
Yeah, you can totally see how that would translate to Blade Runner.
And some people are even speculating that she might be playing a replicant. Imagine the layers she could bring to that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
It would fit perfectly with the whole theme of identity. What does it mean to be human?
Exactly. Like, where do you draw the line between human and replicant?
Okay, so we've got the streaming release, we've got a potentially really interesting showrunner and a fantastic cast,
Mm-hmm.
but there's another big question mark hanging over this whole thing.
Let me guess. The visuals.
You got it.
Yeah.
I mean, 2049 was just visually stunning.
It really was.
Can they really replicate that on a TV budget?
That is the question, isn't it?
Some fans are worried it's going to look cheap.
Yeah, because those visuals were so iconic.
Right. It's almost like they set the bar too high.
But remember, visual storytelling isn't just about big budget effects.
Those images are burned into my brain.
And those are things you can do even without a massive budget.
Okay, that's a good
Clever set design, lighting, cinematography.
Right.
And don't underestimate the power of sound design.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Remember that Vangelis score?
Chills.
Yeah.
Literal chills.
All right.
So maybe it's not about recreating the exact look of 2049,
Mhm.
but more about capturing the essence of what made it so visually striking.
Exactly. And I think they have a great opportunity here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the world of Blade Runner is already so rich and detailed.
Mm-hmm.
This gives them a chance to really explore those details.
Instead of just these big sweeping shots, we might get a closer look at the world.
Exactly. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe those close-ups will reveal even more beauty than we could have imagined.
Okay, so maybe there's hope for the visuals after all.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But either way, I'm definitely intrigued to see what they do with this.
Me too. Lots of potential there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
Definitely. You know, it's interesting. We're talking about visuals.
Yeah.
Because it ties into this other big thing that keeps coming up in the Reddit thread.
What's that?
Franchise fatigue.
Oh, yeah, totally.
People are like, do we really need another Blade Runner?
Give us something new.
Right.
I saw one commenter even saying
Yeah.
they'd rather see adaptations of Philip K. Dick's other books.
Interesting.
Like, let's explore some new territory.
I get that. But
Yeah.
here's the thing about Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been more than just sci-fi action.
Right.
It asks those big questions.
Yeah,
About what it means to be human.
totally.
Consciousness, reality versus artificiality.
Uh-huh.
And if anything, those questions are even more relevant now
Right.
than they were back then.
Like Blade Runner was ahead of its time.
Totally.
It predicted all this stuff we're dealing with now.
Mm-hmm.
AI, virtual reality.
Like what is real anymore.
Exactly.
So yeah, it might seem like familiar territory. But I think 2099 has the potential to say something new about all of that.
Like re-examine those questions in a new context.
Exactly. And the setting itself.
Oh, yeah, 2099.
Like what has happened in that time?
Yeah.
So much could have changed.
What does that world even look like?
It's ripe for exploration.
And maybe a series is the best way to do that.
How so?
Like, a movie can only show you so much,
Right.
but a series can really dig into the details.
Yeah, we could get a much more immersive experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Sprawling cities, advanced replicants, maybe even
Oh,
new parts of the Blade Runner universe we haven't seen before.
it's like a whole new playground to explore.
And the characters, too.
Yeah.
We could see a whole new generation of Blade Runners
Oh, that's cool.
facing those same dilemmas,
Yeah.
but in a totally different world.
Okay, now you're getting me excited about this.
I know, right?
It's like, it's not just a rehash.
Its own thing.
It's building on what came before,
Yeah.
but also doing something new.
Mm.
Okay, so speaking of new things,
Hmm.
what about Michelle Yeoh?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think she's going to bring to this?
I mean, first of all,
Yeah,
she's Michelle Yeoh.
exactly.
He's amazing.
Amazing actress, amazing presence.
And some people are even wondering if
Yeah.
she could be playing a replicant herself.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Can you imagine?
The layers she could bring to that.
I mean, she's already an icon,
Yeah,
but to play a replicant in the Blade Runner world,
yeah.
that would be next level.
One commenter even joked
Oh, yeah.
that she could probably handle a weapon better than Harrison Ford.
I mean, she's pretty badass.
Right.
That's true.
Okay, but seriously,
Mm-hmm.
her being in this
Yeah.
just adds a whole other layer of intrigue.
Right.
Like, what kind of replicant would she be?
What are her motivations?
How does she connect to the other characters?
What's her story?
So many questions.
And you know, it's funny because we've been talking about this whole originality versus familiarity thing.
Right.
But Michelle Yeoh,
Yeah.
she kind of represents something else entirely.
Well,
She's like a
right.
symbol of legacy.
Oh.
Like she brings this weight of experience and excellence.
Right. She elevates every project she's in.
Exactly.
She's going to deliver.
And I think that's important
Yeah.
because it shows that 2099
Yeah.
isn't just about rehashing old ideas.
Right.
It's about carrying forward a certain spirit.
Like a torch being passed.
Yeah, a legacy of pushing boundaries.
And challenging conventions.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not just about being new.
Mm.
It's also about building on what came before.
Honoring the past while also looking to the future.
Ooh, that's good.
Right.
And speaking of the past,
Yeah.
one thing fans keep bringing up
Uh-huh.
is the worry that the show won't be as visually stunning as the films.
Right, because Blade Runner is known for its visuals.
Those iconic shots.
Yeah, like they belong in a museum.
Exactly.
But I think we need to be careful about assuming that visual artistry requires a massive budget.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because yes, 2049 had a huge budget,
Yeah.
and that allowed for some amazing effects.
Right.
But visual storytelling is about more than that.
Like what?
It's about composition, lighting, mood, how the camera moves,
Oh,
the way they use color and shadow.
it's about creating a feeling,
Exactly.
an atmosphere.
And Blade Runner has always been great at that.
Yeah, think of those.
Rain-soaked streets,
Yes.
neon signs reflecting in the puddles.
The mega corporations looming over everything.
That creates such a powerful mood.
And you don't need $1 billion to do that.
No, you just need
Vision.
vision and talent.
And don't forget the sound design.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
The original Blade Runner,
Yeah.
that Vangelis score.
So haunting.
It's just as important as the visuals in creating that world.
I think the creators of 2099 understand that.
I hope so.
Me too. And who knows?
What?
Maybe they'll even use some practical effects.
Oh, yeah, like the original did.
Yeah, that blend of practical and digital.
That'd be cool.
It can make things feel more real.
More grounded.
Yeah, even when you're dealing with futuristic technology.
Okay, I'm feeling more optimistic about the visuals now.
Good.
It sounds like they're not just trying to copy the look of the films,
Mm-hmm.
but they're trying to capture the spirit.
The essence.
Yeah.
And remember,
Yeah,
the world of Blade Runner is already so visually rich.
it is.
So much to work with.
Maybe a TV show is actually the perfect format for that
How so?
because it gives them more time to explore all those details.
Right, instead of just glimpses.
We might get a full-on tour of 2099 Los Angeles.
Think of the world-building potential.
Yeah.
We could see how technology has changed the city, how society has evolved.
How the relationship between humans and replicants has developed.
It's a chance to really dive deep.
Ooh, I like that.
And you know what else is fun to dive into?
What?
Fan theories.
Oh, yeah. Those are always a good time.
There are so many out there about 2099.
What are some of the ones you've seen?
Well, some people think Deckard might make a comeback.
Wow, really?
Yeah, maybe even played by Harrison Ford.
How would they do that?
De-aging technology.
Oh, right?
It's pretty advanced these days.
Oh, that'd be wild.
Others think it'll focus on the replicant underground,
Interesting.
exploring those themes of rebellion and freedom.
Yeah, that was definitely a big part of 2049.
Exactly.
I even saw some theories about a connection to the Black Lotus anime series,
Oh, wow.
which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, that would tie things together nicely.
But the one that really got me thinking
Yeah.
is the idea that they might explore climate change.
Oh, interesting.
Like how has climate change affected the Blade Runner world,
That would be very timely.
right?
And it would fit perfectly with that whole aesthetic.
Yeah, like the urban decay.
The environmental collapse.
I'm picturing scenes of rising sea levels,
Smog-choked skies.
people fighting for resources,
It would be a very powerful backdrop for the story.
and it would allow them to address a really important issue.
Mm-hmm. And it could be visually stunning, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Imagine a chase scene through a flooded city.
Whoa. Yeah.
That would be intense.
It's like they could turn climate change into a character itself.
Right, this force that's shaping everything.
I love that.
And that's what Blade Runner does so well.
What do you mean?
It takes these big abstract ideas
Yeah.
and makes them personal.
Right.
It grounds them in human stories.
So even though we're dealing with replicants and futuristic technology,
Mm-hmm.
we're still ultimately exploring what it means to be human.
Exactly, and how we deal with change.
Speaking of change,
Yeah.
I think we need to acknowledge that 2099 has a lot to live up to.
Oh, for sure.
It's following two iconic films.
Which are considered masterpieces.
And it's coming out at a time when everyone is kind of tired of reboots and sequels.
Franchise fatigue.
Exactly.
It's a tough landscape to navigate.
And then there's the whole issue of adaptation,
Right, like how do you stay true to the source material?
but also do something new.
It's a delicate balance.
Fans are passionate about Blade Runner,
They have high expectations.
and they're not afraid to voice their opinions.
That's for sure.
So there's definitely potential for backlash.
There always is.
But you know what?
What?
I'm still feeling cautiously optimistic.
Me too.
Why? Why are you optimistic?
Because I think the creators are aware of all this.
Mm-hmm.
They know the challenges. And from what we've seen so far,
Yeah.
it seems like they're approaching this with a lot of respect for the legacy of Blade Runner,
You're not taking it lightly.
but they also seem to be bringing their own vision to it,
That's the key, isn't it?
finding that balance.
Between honoring the past and embracing the future.
It's like they're passing the torch to a new generation.
But they're also making sure the flame keeps burning.
I like that.
And who knows?
What?
Maybe 2099 will be the spark that ignites a whole new wave of conversations.
Oh, wow. About the future, about technology, about what it means to be human.
That would be amazing
It would.
to think that this series could have that kind of impact.
It's possible.
It's exciting.
It is.
I'm definitely feeling more and more excited about this.
Me too.
All right, well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
It's time to take a little break.
Sounds good.
We'll be back soon to wrap up our deep dive into Blade Runner 2099.
And give our final verdict.
Should you watch it or skip it?
Tune in to find out.
All right, we're back.
Back again.
Ready to wrap up our deep dive into Blade Runner 2099.
I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah, we've talked about the fan theories, the casting, those amazing visuals,
But worries about franchise fatigue.
all of it.
Yeah, we really went deep.
And you know, through all of that,
Mm-hmm.
one thing has become crystal clear.
What's that?
Blade Runner, it's more than just a movie franchise.
it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's like this cultural touchstone.
Mm.
It's a mirror reflecting all of our anxieties about technology and identity.
And what it even means to be human.
Exactly, and I think that's why there's so much buzz around this new series.
It's tapping into something deep.
Yeah, it's not just about spaceships and lasers.
No, it's about those big philosophical questions.
The questions that have been with us forever.
Right, like what is consciousness?
What does it mean to be alive?
In a world that's so obsessed with technology.
Yeah, where the line between real and artificial is getting blurrier every day.
Those questions are more important than ever.
It's like Blade Runner was a warning
A cautionary tale.
about what happens when we let technology go too far.
And now with 2099, we get to see what happens next.
Like what happens after the warning.
Right. Have we learned our lesson?
Or are we just hurtling towards our own destruction?
It's a scary thought.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
Blade Runner has always been about hope, too.
It has.
Like, even in that dark, dystopian future, there's still this belief that humanity can endure,
That we can connect with each other.
find meaning.
Even in the midst of chaos.
Exactly.
Remember that scene at the end of 2049?
When Case sacrifices himself
Yeah.
to protect Deckard and his daughter.
So powerful.
Such a beautiful moment.
It reminds us
That even when things are bleak,
there's still good in the world.
still hope.
That's what makes Blade Runner so special.
It acknowledges the darkness.
But it also shows us the light.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear from you, the listeners.
What are your thoughts?
What are your hopes for Blade Runner 2099?
Are you excited?
Nervous?
Do you think it can live up to the legacy of the films?
Or will it be a total disaster?
Let us know in the comments.
We've given you all the info.
We've explored the source material, the fan reactions.
The themes, the possibilities.
Now it's up to you to decide.
Are you ready to step back into the world of Blade Runner?
Are you ready to see what the future holds?
We can't wait to hear what you think.
And no matter what you decide,
We hope you'll keep exploring
keep questioning,
and keep diving deep into the stories that matter.
because that's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Blade Runner 2099.
See you next time!
This is your need to know.
Circuit dreams and digital noise, bass throbbing, confusion deploys. Techno heart, pulse flipping joints, violin strumming them broken points. Glitches whisper, secrets they spill. Audio effects that give you chill. Female flow, opera thrill. Scratch that vinyl, DJ skill. Binary breath, absurd delight. Robot lifelines, glitchy night. Dub echoes, future fight. Chaos rules a neon sight. Industrial beats from metal veins, movie scenes and micro domains. House of ribbon, techno strains, postmodern echoes, vivid chains. Turntables spin tales of yore, beat drops heavy, ask for more. Scratch symphony, make 'em roar. Cyborg rhythm, digital lore. Absurd vibes in every beat. Nonsense rhythms point to meet. Hot beats under twisted feet. Techno jungle, we bring the heat. Glitches whisper, secrets they spill. Audio effects that give you chill. Female flow, opera thrill. Scratch that that vinyl DJ skill. By a breath, absurd delight, robo lifelines, glitchy night, dull echoes, future fight, chaos rules, a neon sight. Industrial beats from metal veins, movie scenes and microdomains, house of ripping techno strains, postmodern echoes, vivid chains. Turntables spin tales of yore, beat drops heavy, ask for more. Scratch symphony, make 'em roar, cyborg rhythm, digital lore. Absurd vibes in every beat, nonsense rhythms point to me. Hot beats under twisted feet, techno jungle, we bring the heat.